Let us discuss something about optics. Optics is a branch of physics. Branch of physics. It deals with light and its phenomena. Phenomena like reflection, refraction, dispersion, scattering, etc. In this lesson, we discuss about these phenomena: reflection, refraction, dispersion, scattering, and so on. First, we see about the branch of optics. Here, the optics can be classified into two. One is ray optics, and another one is wave optics. Second one is wave optics. First, ray optics. Ray optics is study about the light as a ray. Ray means path of light. Path of light is ray. Ray means path of light. Path of light is called as ray of light. And next, wave optics means the light is propagating as a wave. That is propagation of light. Propagation of light as wave. As wave. First, we discuss about reflection. Reflection means it is a process of bouncing back of light into the same medium when it encounters a reflecting surface. That means bounce back into same medium when it reaches a reflecting surface. Here, this is a reflecting surface. XY is a reflecting surface. This is reflecting surface, and this is the normal to this reflecting surface. Here, n is a normal to this reflecting surface, means the angle between normal and this reflecting surface is 90 degree. This is normal to this reflecting surface. A ray means a path of light is a ray. So a ray is incident at a point. A ray is incident at a point on the reflecting surface, and it gets reflected. Here, this is the ray which is incident on this reflecting surface is called incident ray. And the ray which reflecting at this point on the reflecting surface is called reflected ray. In this process is called reflection. Here, the ray is incident on this reflecting surface and bounce back to the same medium. This is a medium. It may be air medium. So here, the ray is incident on the reflecting surface and it bounces back to the same medium when it reaches the reflecting surface. This process is called reflection. Here, this is reflection, and we mention here the angle of incidence and angle of reflection. First, angle of incidence means the angle between incident ray and normal to this reflecting surface. Incident ray is here. This is incident ray, and the angle between incident ray and normal to this reflecting surface is called angle of incidence. And another one is angle of reflection. This is angle of reflection. Angle of reflection means the angle between the reflected ray and normal to this reflecting surface. This is reflected ray, this is normal to this reflecting surface. The angle between these two, normal and reflecting surface, is called angle of reflection or is angle of reflection. Angle of reflection, this is the process of reflection. Then next we see about laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. First one is from this figure. We see the incident ray, reflected ray and normal to this reflecting surface. These three. One is incident ray, normal, reflected ray. These three are lie in the same plane. This is the first law of reflection. The incident ray, here reflected ray and normal to this reflecting surface. Normal to the reflecting surface. All these three means these three. Here all means these three. All are lie in the same plane. This is first law of reflection. Then next, second law of reflection. Here the angle of incidence and angle of reflection are equal. This is second law of reflection. First, here angle of incidence means I. It is I is equal to R. R is angle of reflection. So second law of reflection is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Now see about regular and irregular reflections. First let us see about regular reflection. Let us consider a reflecting surface. This is reflecting surface. If there are three rays are incident in this figure. This is first ray which is incident at this point. So the normal to this point. Here this is normal, and another ray which is parallel to the first ray is incident on this reflecting surface. This is normal, and third ray, it is also parallel to the remaining two rays. These three normal. These three are incident rays. These three rays are incident on this reflecting surface. This reflecting surface is flat reflecting surface. These three incident rays, after reflection, these three are parallel to each other, because the reflecting surface is flat. After reflection, these three incident rays are parallel. These three are reflected rays. These three reflected rays are parallel. These three incident rays are parallel. Here these incident rays are parallel after reflection when they are incident on a flat reflecting surface. This is called regular reflection. And another one is called irregular reflection. Now see about irregular reflection. Consider a irregular surface. This is irregular reflecting surface. Here also three rays are incident. Here this is incident ray, and another one is parallel to the first ray. These three rays are parallel. Here let us draw the normal at the point of incidence. Here this is point of incidence. So At this point, the normal is here. This is normal. So after reflection, here according to laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So the reflected ray is here. So angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So the angle of reflection R is equal to angle of incidence. This is reflected ray for the first incident ray. Then next, for second incident ray, at this point of incidence, the normal is, this is normal at this point of incidence. Here according to the laws of reflection, the reflected ray is here. This is incident ray, this is angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection, and for this point of incidence, the normal is here. So this is normal. So reflected ray is here. This is reflected ray, this is incident ray. So this is angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection. You see these three reflected rays. This is first reflected ray, this is second reflected ray, this is third reflected ray. Before reflection, that means incident rays are parallel. Incident rays are parallel. After reflection, that means reflected rays are not parallel. Not parallel because the surface is not flat. The surface is irregular. After reflection, the reflected rays are not parallel, means this process is called irregular reflection. Here this is irregular reflection. So irregular reflection takes place when incident rays or incident on a irregular reflecting surface.